Welcome back to It's Time Picks. We've got UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Hill. Last week did not go so well for Joey. It went well for me, so we'll just leave it at that. Can I say? This week we got a really tough card to kind of to choose from here, so it's kind of going to be a shit show, I think.
Maybe I'll get my lead back or
I
get some
doubt it.
momentum back.
I doubt it.
At least let me break even.
But jumping right in, we've got first fight up. We got Takashi Sato and Themba Grimbo. And have you did you see my article yet? Did you see where my picks are?
I saw it was out, and I think I seen no, I didn't see it all. I think I saw this pick.
Okay. Well, I'll let you go first on this one.
All right, so in other terms, this is gonna be a striker versus an ideal grappler. Even though Garambo is pretty big for the weight class, he uses his range decently, but what he's gonna try to do is he's gonna try to sucker his opponent in with an over pursue punch, and he's gonna change levels for his double leg. He had a short nose debut against AJ Fletcher, which he actually had some successful takedowns, and at one point he actually had the back, and we thought, oh shit, he might grab the neck. Sato is gonna be KO or bust in this fight. But I know in DFS wise, the 8K to 8,200 fight, they always say it's to fight the target, but I'm more leaning towards Garambo because I think he is the more minute winner. Sato is going to be looking for that early potential punch, which could he land? Yeah, if he actually steps in and does it, yeah, he can easily land that punch. But I'm on Garambo. I think he's going to be the minute winner. I think he can get time takedowns. I don't know about a sub because it seems like Sato's weird. He doesn't get subbed by Nelson, but he gets subbed by everybody else. So who knows this fight? But I think the potential ideal higher score could be Garambo with mixing it up, but it would not shock me if Sato said, you know what, screw this shit. I'm coming out aggressive early, and he goes for the knockout. I think this is a fight you definitely need to target, but I'm going to be on Garambo.
Yep, I'm the opposite, and I completely disagree with you. I think that Grumbo is booty to say just to say the least. I really do. I don't think he's much of anything. Now Sato is on a 3-fight losing streak. He has lost 4 of his last 5, but look at who he's lost to. He lost to Bilal Muhammad, who he defended 2 of 7 of 9 takedowns against. Keep
Yep.
that in mind as I go through this. Then he won against Jason Witt, the Chinless Wonder, and then he lost to Miguel Baeza, Gunnar Nelson, and Brian Battle. Those are 4 really, really good losses.
But his 2 losses, I wouldn't be like hippie hoo right about because he
So
pretty much knocked out 2 of the probably the chinniest guys in the UFC during that time frame. But
I'm not worried about that. I'm not going
but
to look at that.
only
If
thing
you
I'll
look
say
at
about
his,
Garimbo, what I like, he
is
also
this your turn or is this my turn?
I don't
Okay, thank
know.
you.
I thought we were taking turns.
So no, I think that Sato he avoids all. If he avoids 90% of the takedowns, he wins this fight, just straight up decision, KO, whatever it is. I think he wins, and Sato is absolutely my pick to
I'll say
win.
this: if Sato gets the decision, he's not scoring well.
We shall
Because
see,
ideally, I
sir.
don't think him for one, unless he gets a shitload of knockdowns. Is it possible? Who knows? I never really seen Garimbo get rocked. I don't know. But only thing I'll say about Garimbo, I know he has been recently training a lot with Kobe Covington in that camp in Florida. So I do like that.
That's not really saying much. Colby doesn't do anything anymore.
Kobe's gonna beat Leon.
I can't wait for it. All right, already first fight. We tend to get it wrong. One of us will be right this time. Watch it be a draw.
Dude, I'm gonna punch his freaking boxing as a freaking draw.
That'd be hilarious. Next up, we have Natalia Silva versus Victoria Leonardo. And this is one of those fights where you look at it, the odds are great. Silva should absolutely thrash Leonardo. We've seen it 100 times where we say, oh, okay, she should win this. And then she ends up losing. I hate women's fights sometimes because they're just shit like that. But I do really think that Silva absolutely demolishes her. And that's my pick.
I probably don't need to say much, but Leonardo is poop. But I was trying to fart and make it come out good, common sound. But I think only thing I'll say about Leonardo, she's adorable. She's a tough dog. Don't get me wrong, but I'm out here winning this fight. The only thing about Silva I don't like in the first 2 fights, she allows her back to stay against the cage, and that's the only thing that I don't like about her style. Everything else, she's talented as hell, good power, good jiu-jitsu. I have a feeling this might go over the 1.5, possibly. Depends on how Silva's game approaches, because like I said, Leonardo is aggressive early and tries to hug and hold, blah, blah, but don't overthink it. It's going to be Silva. The betting line is terrible. She's like a minus 1,000 last time I saw. If you want to be stupid and just set her as a baseline parlay piece, and then if you feel comfortable with other fights, go ahead. But I'd be careful with this card as a betting card, though.
Absolutely. So both of us going with Natalia Silva. Next up, we got Chase Hooper and Nick Fiore. And I'm really curious what your take is on this fight. So you're going first.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I switched my pick 5 times. 5. The only thing I'll say is like I know this is a grappler versus grappler, but I think Hooper is the better grappler. I like the camp that Fury's at with Calvin Cater, Rob Font, and Ige in that Boston area. Fury, he looked tough during his short nose debut against Rebecca. And
He did. He did.
And the one thing I'll say, if the UFC threw Rebecca at Hooper, I think Hooper would be 10 feet in the ground. But depends on what style. If they stay standing, you know how they say if styles clash and they pretty much match, it turns to a striking fight. And who do I say is the better ideal striker right now? I say Fury because he shows toughness, but I'm more leaning towards the Hooper side. He has the UFC experience. Like I said, I think he could even finish Fury by submission.
I think he does.
One thing I'll say is Hooper actually looked good. You know, I saw a lot of videos of him weight training, and during the weigh-ins, he looked big. He finally, he's not that little boy frame. He's growing to his man body. So he's actually getting some guns. Nice little 6-pack. Seems like I got a crush on him, but I don't. I promise I don't. But I'm on Hooper.
Yeah, I am too, and there's a really, really big reason for it. Fiore can be as strong and tough as you want him to be, but he has not fought anybody. His resume is fucking terrible. Like I went through it. I watched as many fights as I could. Sure, he's beating up on these guys, but they're nobodies. And then you go to Hooper. Hooper has fought people. You can't tell me that fucking Hooper isn't the better fighter or not the better fighter. So I'm on Hooper all day. I think he finishes him real quick.
So
Hooper
before we get to the next fight,
a stud.
This fight style of Fury kind of reminds me of Hooper's opponent with Felipe Colares, rest in peace. But Felipe had some jiu-jitsu, he had some striking. Fury, he doesn't have the striking of Felipe had, but I think Hooper. I'm really intrigued what Hooper's going to be at 55. He's finally getting some muscle. He's looking good. As long as he doesn't look like he did against Garcia, I think he can close a distance. And from what I've seen, Fury, even in the regional scene, as long as you're the one pushing towards him, you could take him down. Like Rebecca wasn't even using actual true wrestling credentials. She was like, "Oh, I can grab you by your leg and pretty much, what's the word I want to use? Rug drag you. Pretty much pull right underneath your leg and you fall on your ass and you accept the bottom. If you do that against Hooper, Hooper's gonna find something. So I'm actually liking Hooper a lot in this fight, especially with him actually getting more training rounds with Michael Chiesa. So that actually is going to help him evolve as well.
Both of us going with Chase Hooper. Next up, we have Latifi versus Nascimento. And I actually really like this fight for DFS because I think Latifi is old and he should probably stop fighting. And he is about to get submitted in the first round by Nascimento.
I love you because I'll tell you right now, he is one of I play GPP. Nascimento might be one of my favorite contrarian plays. Because everyone's like, oh, Latifi, ownership wise, you look at the 9K, I think there's a chance Nascimento might be one of the lowest owned.
I hope he is because
I hope so too.
I think he submits him in round 1.
Oh, dude, I'll talk about bets afterwards, but I think there's a chance that Latifi's going to, for one, I saw the size difference on the face-offs. Holy shit. Like, I knew Latifi was a small heavyweight. Nascimento was big, but...
Yeah, no, Nascimento's going to drop him immediately to the ground, find his neck, it's over. Yeah, I mean, or ground and pound, whichever.
I think he may knock him out.
Whichever it is, I think he...
I don't give a shit. Just get that finish round 1. Because, honestly, Latifi just came back from early retirement.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I'm all
easy enough for me. Both of us going with Nascimento.
One of my more confident picks.
Absolutely. Next up, we got Orion Koshi. Is that how you say it? Because I can't. I always forget how to say his
Orion Kosei or Kosei.
Yeah, I think it is Kosi. Orion Kosi versus Gilbert Urbina. And before you even said anything about Kosi missing today, I was already on Urbina. I was on him his first fight. Um, Kosi's great. He's got a lot of really. He's got a good motor. He's got good power. He's got good hands. But Urbina is tough, and Urbina's going to throw more. He can mix in his wrestling. I think overall, it's just a really bad matchup for Kosi. So I'm on Urbina all day.
Before I get my breakdown, give me a high five. That's my boy. So Yarbina is more than likely one of my favorite underdogs on this slate. Okay, for one, and this is before even the weight miss. I was like, for one, Okosi, he throws wild with his hands. He leaves himself to get hittable. His fight IQ is terrible. He's chinny. There was a point where everyone thought at one point he was almost going to lose to Blood Diamond because Blood Diamond started to get up. That's not a good look.
No.
His cardio is terrible. And honestly, it wouldn't shock me if Gilbert brings a pace because Gilbert's actually coming down to 170. He fought 185 during Ultimate Fighter, fought
Yep.
Battle 185. But I think there's a chance Urbana's going to come in aggressive and he's going to throw wild. And if Kosei is going to shoot one of his ugly wannabe Uriah Faber double legs, and it would not shock me if Urbana grabs a neck. Because to me, he's the pure minute winner in this fight. The only way he loses personally is if somehow Kosei catches him early with an overhand at some point, which I don't see happening. I know this line is now even money line wise, but that was before the weigh-in. It was like Urbana was like minus like plus 120. And once the whole weight miss happened, it went to even money. And it wouldn't
Well,
shock me if Urbana goes to favorite by the time the fight starts.
well, I had him before all that happened, so I can happily and
Mm-hmm.
gladly say that I was already on him.
Yep.
So I would assume your pick is then Urbina.
Oh, easily.
So both of us going with Gilbert Urbina. Next up, I hate trying to say her damn name. Carolina
Carolina
Kowalkiewicz
Kowalkiewicz.
and Vanessa
This OnlyFans.
Demopoulos. I'll let you take this one first.
Like I said, this is another style of good kickboxing versus a good grappler. Um, I'll just sum it up here. Demopoulos looked terrible on the scale. As
Did
soon
you
as
just
you
say
know
she's a
she was
good
walking,
grappler?
I'll say she's more grappling. Like she has good jiu-jitsu. Like she has good armbar. And that's mainly like her bread and butter is the armbar for the most part. But she's a wild striker, but I wouldn't say she's a fluent striker. She's more wild to try to close a distance and try to clinch to get into her freaking overall BJJ game. I'll give it to Carolina. Like, she had a tough stretch where she lost like 4 or 5 straight.
Against top
And
fighters.
against top fighters. Everyone thought maybe after the Penne loss, maybe she was going to hang it up. Penne caught her sub. But that's Penne. If you give up anything, Penne's going to catch you. But I give credit to the her last fight. She showed a lot of composure versus Gomez Suarez. And honestly, at first, I know I was already going to be on Carolina as the pick. But one thing I don't like about Demopoulos, she leaves herself available to get touched. I may save it for later, but Carolina's another potential sleeper who I may look for in GPPs. Because I think if Vanessa can't get the early takedowns, I think Carolina's going to light her up like a tree. And, usually I don't like to try to target many female fights, but Carolina's showing some overall game improvement. She's showing takedowns. She's showing control time. But I think she can just let her hands go in this fight.
I don't disagree. I have Carolina as well. Carolina Kowalkiewicz. Yeah, no, I think so. The way that I had it is she can match her wrestling. She
Mm-hmm.
has grappling in her back pocket, but she's 5 times the striker that Demopoulos is. And trust me, I think we've all grown to love Demopoulos when she wins, jumping into Bisping's arms. I think it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I'd like to see it again, I don't see it happening. I think this is a step up too far. I mean, she went from Gomez Juarez to Ufre to Olivier, yeah, Oliveira. It's and then you're jumping all the way up to here, a past title contender.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much too soon. I think Carolina just completely demolishes her. I won't be mad if I'm wrong though. I really won't. She's fun to watch. So both of us going with Carolina. Next up, we got Maheshate and Borshev. I really actually like this fight a lot, and I will let you go first, and I will explain why I
So
like it.
I'm not gonna lie. When I told you beginning, I thought, man, I'm probably not gonna watch this card. I know you called me out on bluff. He's like, bitch, you don't do nothing. You're gonna sit your ass down Saturday and watch the card, blah blah blah. But when I started actually looking into it, this is the one first fight I actually circled. Like, a good striker delight. I'm not messing with
It
that.
will be too. It's
Yes, it
only
will be
striking.
very entertaining. But one thing I will say, who's gonna shoot first when someone gets rocked? I would
I don't.
say
I don't think either
Becky.
one of them will.
You think someone's just gonna get knocked out before like what? Probably under 2.5.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I really
So
do.
one thing I'll say is Borshev is the more fluent kickboxer. He grew up ideally kickboxing around the world. He's dangerous. One thing I like about Matashate, he does not ever stop coming forward. You hit me, I come forward. I hit you, you drop. Usually, I think this one thing I'm interested how kind of striking to me. If it's gonna be a rangy fight, I think Borshev might try to start lighting him up with kicks, uses 1-2s. Because either two things happen: either someone gets a finish, like I'm ideally thinking right now, I think someone could get finished, or it's going to be a point fighter type fight and decision. Who knows? But if it's a decision from a Shate, I think he will probably score way better than what if Borishev does. Just for this, the one pick I'm not going to be mad if I get wrong. I'm slightly leaning Borishev because the overall striking experience he has. None against Manashate. I know apparently they said he has like a some small little background in grappling of a sort, but I don't
He
know if it's like
does.
so, but he hasn't. I haven't seen it yet. I know he has a
You
submission.
won't see
On
it.
him.
He's
No,
one
you
of
won't
those
see it.
guys that fell in love with his hands.
Yeah, so like just because of that, if I knew if Menashate was gonna mix in maybe a clinch or even a takedown, just to
If he does that, he's gonna
if
kill
he does that, he's
everybody.
gonna break the slate. He can be like, oh yeah, I'll strike, level change, boom, he breaks the slate at 74. And I'm just leaning towards Borishev as the pick because I think, like I said, I think it's gonna be a striking match. I think he needs a finish at 8,800 because if not, I don't know how. I don't think he'll score the best at 88. So my slight leans Borshev.
Yep, I'm the opposite.
I know.
I love Machate, and there's a lot of reasons. If you go back and you watch the Dakota Bush fight, the Chris Duncan fight, and all the way back to even Ali Zebian, if you can find it, there's times where you could see Borshev kind of get touched up a little bit, and those none of those guys are strikers. He gets touched up in this fight, he's going to get his first knockout loss. And I already know that Mahashate has a chin. He showed it in his last fight with
Garcia.
Garcia, and the only reason I mean, both of these guys, all three of their losses, their last three, two to Borshev and one to Machate, are all to wrestling, grappling. They got taken down 1,000 times and then controlled. This isn't going to be that way. This is going to be all striking. I think the dog wins.
I don't hate it.
So, um, next up, my least favorite fight on the card. And I'm so tired of seeing both of them really. Diego Ferreira and Michael Johnson. I'm on Ferreira. I don't like it. I don't like either one of these fighters anymore. They're both old. This is kind of like the old guide fight this time. One's 38, one's 36. I think Ferreira is slightly better and quicker everywhere. That could easily change, but um, Michael Johnson is durable. Michael Johnson is weird. He's the best worst fighter ever.
Yeah, and I give Michael Johnson this. He also has the most craziest fight schedule I've ever seen, especially for some wins.
Yeah, he's got so many good fights. He's got really, really good wins against top ranked guys. They weren't ranked then, but
Yeah.
whatever. And he's got some really shit ass losses. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm on Ferreira. I think it's going to be a boring fight. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
So I know Ferreira's been off for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But if you look at his losses, he fought some of the top guys are now ranked within the top 10. If Ferreira's gonna win this fight, he's gotta try to find a way to get the clinch and get a takedown. But one thing about Johnson, he has very good takedown defense. But when you do take him down and you get a hold of his back, you can submit him. Johnson usually
Yep.
to give up, and that I don't like to see that, but that's if you get him down. Johnson to me is the better pure boxer in this fight. He has good combinations.
Mhm.
And 3 out of Ferreira's 5 losses in the UFC are by knockout. So maybe this layoff, who knows what's going to look like. But I'm picking Johnson. This
Okay.
I'm on a dog or pass in this fight. At least Johnson has come out that he still has title aspirations. Doesn't mean he's going to get there. Probably not. But I do like to hear, he still has plenty of years he wants to fight. And one thing about Johnson, I like about most time when Johnson fights, he's in somewhat entertaining fights. But I'll take Johnson.
All right, another one we're split on. I'm on Ferrari. You got Johnson. I don't know. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a boring fight. So
Wouldn't shock me.
next up is should be the complete opposite of a boring fight with Andre Fiallo and Joaquin Buckley.
You go first.
And I am typically not on Buckley, but I was on Buckley even before weigh-ins today, which you can see in my article.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you already know I haven't been a big fan of Buckley, but
Neither am I.
uh, I do like him in this fight, and I'm trying to pull up my thing here. So yeah, basically, it should be 15 minutes of striking unless somebody finds a knockout, which
Expecting.
I do think could happen. The big difference for me in this fight was that Buckley throws more volume and he has much better striking defense. Fiala's striking defense is trash.
Yeah.
So I think he walks right into something and just lays flat.
I'm trying to not be biased because I'm never a Buckley guy. But one thing, if you're talking about pure striking alone, I'll give it to Fiallo for pure striking. He does have good combinations. He has that one touch power. He touches you, you will go to bed. And I know for Buckley, 3 out of his 4 UFC losses are by KO. And one thing that does have me curious, yes, the weight cut looked very good for him. Again, credit for that. He fought 170 before outside the UFC. I'm wondering why he's back so soon from Chris Curtis flatlining him.
It was December. It's plenty of time.
I'm curious how his chin is because sometimes they say you might lose a little bit of power, but you still get some speed. And sometimes, depending on the fighter, see how your chin reacts at a lower weight class, cutting more weight.
Well, I mean, Fiallo was knocked out in November. That spinning back fist from Salikov. So I mean,
That shit was mean. That shit was
it's
nasty.
it's only one more, and that punch was probably harder than what Curtis gave Buckley.
Uh,
Not to mention that Fiallo was also knocked out by Jake fucking Matthews.
hey, Jake Matthews gave him the 3-piece and a biscuit.
Yeah, so I don't
But
know.
one thing I'll say about this, what could be sneaky about Buckley, I'm not too really fond about some of these favorites because the lines are closed. If the fight goes longer than 1.5, if someone told me who's going to be the decision winner, it's going to be Buckley because Buckley could mix in some takedowns because he showed an improvement in the takedowns lately. I don't like the face off they had. Buckley's still doing what Buckley shit, run his mouth. He's like, you know what? Usually I'm the one predicting. I'm gonna let you predict. When am I knocking you out? Blah blah blah. Kept trying to flinch. I'm like, Buckley, just flinch and let Fiallo know. I hope Andre knocks this chump the F out.
Hmm.
I'm going Fiallo. I hope he knocks him the F out. And then I will, if I do remember, I'm gonna send a tweet to Buckley saying, don't always chew too much you can't bite on.
And then when Buckley knocks him out, I'm just gonna point and laugh at you.
That's fine. But I hope Buckley gets put to bed.
All right. Well, we're split again. You got Fiallo. I've got Buckley. Next up, we got Emily Ducati and Lupi Godinez. I will let you take this one first.
Lupe Godinez came in as a good prospect especially when she showed off her wrestling chops. Especially early, her absolutely ragdolling, and I'm thinking, oh shit, she might be the best wrestler in that division. And then what happened? She had some striking matches. Like, oh, I'm a striker. Then it looks like her fight IQ is shit. And one thing I'll say right now, she did not beat Cynthia Calvillo. No, the hell not. She didn't. But one thing I'll say about this, they're both well rounded in this fight. I'd slightly give the wrestling to Godinez.
Slightly.
Slightly.
She's a
Godinez,
massive difference.
so offensive wrestling to Cody's fine. But when she's on her back, she just chills there like a fish. But if I knew that Godinez was going to go back to her wrestling roots, but the only thing that scares me, she does take this fight on short notice, and at times she doesn't tend to perform well with short notices when she steps in. This is a fight I want to slightly go Godinez, but yeah, I'll go Godinez. I'm not confident all with it, but One thing I know is if the Cody does start a takedown, she could probably win a point decision, just out volume Luby. Even though Luby's a decent boxer, but I'm hoping the guy Luby just take. Now she knows. Look, my back is against the wall a little bit. I hope she goes back to her wrestling roots and shows why once she was once regarded as a good prospect.
Yeah. Nope. I actually, prior to writing my article, I was actually on Ducati. And then I started to research and look a little more into it. And I switched it. I went to Godinez. And mainly because when Godinez fights pure strikers, which Ducati has shown pretty much that, she doesn't really choose to wrestle at all. Godinez finds a way to get it done, and then she controls him on the mat the entire time. The only exception was Angela Hill, which she won that fight. I don't care what anybody says. Um, but I think Angela Hill has better takedown defense than Ducati.
Yep.
So either way, I mean, the odds should probably be closer than they are, but I do think Lupi pulls it off as she should. So both of us going with Lupi Godinez. Next up, we have a really, really interesting match with Edmund Shabazian and Anthony Hernandez. And this is another one where I was nearly on the dog.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you take it first, though.
As you pretty much said it, I was almost on the damn dog. Because for one, I think the line should be close to a pick 'em. It's a clash of styles. Fluffy's a good grappler with good wrestling, decent striking. While Edmund, now he's at a new camp at Extreme Couture, which I love for him. He's getting a lot of looks and training with Sean Strickland. So I love that. Edmund is a good striker, good, dangerous one-touch power. And the last time I remember Anthony Hernandez fought a guy with some good striking, Kevin Holland, and Colin Holland pieced him the hell up. But I think Holland is the better striker than Edmund, but Edmund has more power, of course. But I legitimately almost went Edmund here. I was probably this freaking close from doing it, but until I see otherwise, I think there's a chance that could Fluffy get touched a little bit? Yeah, maybe early. But I think he's gonna. One thing I'll say about him, I love his IQ. He knows what he has to go do. He doesn't care. He doesn't get into many brawls. He's like, all right, bet. I want you overextend, and I'm gonna blast W and take you to hell down. The only thing that sucks is he does allow opponents to get up, but for DFS players like us, we like that because what he's gonna do? He's gonna go back, dump down, repeat, dump down, repeat, dump down, repeat. And I could see probably when Edmund Carbian does go, his cardio does go after round 1.5 or so. It wouldn't shock me if Hernandez gets another takedown, gets the hooks in, and probably submits him at some point.
Definitely possible. I'm also on Hernandez, and the big reason that I went with him is because if you go back and you look at Shabazian's those 3 losses that he had, ignoring the one against Imavov, he got taken down 3 times by Hermanson and 4 times by Brunson. And Hernandez, to me, is better at taking down than both of them. Not to mention that Hernandez has 16 takedowns in the last 2 fights. He has 8 each. I think he could have a field day against Shabazian. He does need to watch his neck. Shabazian is a good grappler. He does have that in his back pocket, and he does have power. So he does have to be careful. But like you said, he does have a really high fight IQ, and I do agree with that. I mean, he submitted Rodolfo Vieira, which is really, really tough to do. So
very impressive.
Yeah, I am on Hernandez. I really like the pick. I like him for DFS. So
yep.
Both of us going with Anthony Hernandez. Next up, we got the main event with Mackenzie Dern and Angela Hill. And there's never a fight where I'll not take Mackenzie Dern. You already know this. That's my girl. Angela Hill is a gatekeeper. Dern has kind of fallen backwards a little bit in her last 2 fights. Well, 2 of 3, but she did beat Tisha Torres in there, so it's kind of she got pieced up by Marina Rodriguez and then by Jan. She did have her chances in that Jan fight. It could arguably gone her way. She said when she came out, she learned quite a bit. She needs to stop going for the submissions the whole time, and I really, really like that because that means more control time. So what I think we're going to find in this is she's going to get a trip or 2. She's going to find her way down to the mat, and then she's just going to keep Hill there. And if the submission presents itself, while Hill tries to get up, then I think she'll go for it. I don't think she's going to attack the whole time. So Dern could really absolutely just smash even at 9,100 in a decision. So I love Dern per usual. It doesn't change, but I do think she's the better fighter here.
If this fight was to happen last week in 3 rounds, I probably would have picked Hill for a 3-round fight. Now it's 5 rounds. It's going to give Dern so much time, even though her overall takedown offense is absolute poop trash. I think there's times where maybe she puts Hill against the cage for a clinch. Maybe she drops into her guard. Maybe she tries to hold her against the cage control for that. If you're telling me who could be the minute winner if it's not clinching, it could be Hill maybe. Because I think Hill is definitely leaps and bounds the better overall boxer. But Dern is the more dangerous fighter in this fight. If someone told me if someone was going to get finished, it was going to be Dern finishing Angela Hill. I'm picking Dern either way. But like I said, if it was last week, 3 rounds, I was pretty much torn on this fight going Hill. But I think at some point, I don't know when, I think Dern is going to get Hill tired with all the clinch control. And it's going to take one little slip up from Hill, even if it's not a takedown. I have a feeling she may even jump back. Hill's going to try to transition, battle the hands, forget the one hand. Dern doesn't even need to put her hooks in, and she can jump the back. So yeah, I'm on Dern. DFS, depending on how the fight goes, I want to 5 rounds. Depends how much volume she does. I think this fight's gonna stay close. And if you're telling me it's gonna stay close, Hill for a value is not bad at 7,100. I know some people are talking about a potential stack in cash. Could be a decent play for 5 rounds, but I'm not really a stack guy, and you're more cash than I am. So yeah, I'll be on Dern, but
All right, both.
I may be leveraged and try to avoid the main event on this one
I
because
think
I
a
have to
lot
make
of
decisions.
yeah, that'd be a smart choice. But both of us going with Dern. Right. So that wraps up that card. Looks like we have one, two, three, four, only four different fights. So you cannot pass me with this card, just so you're aware.
Oh well. Oh well.
Um, yeah. There's a number of, like hot takes that I could go with, but I'm just gonna stick with Mahashate getting the round one knockout. I really like him this week. And if I want to go dig even further, I like the Sato knockout as well.
I would say for me, I think Yerbina finishes Kosei. Um, Another one, I wouldn't say the hot take because we both kind of agreed on Nasameno hopefully
I was
finishes.
about to say he's my lock.
Yeah, that was one of my. I had a lock marker next to him, so I can say we can agree on that. So that's gonna be a good sign. A sleeper one, I'm gonna consider, and maybe I'll even put 2 lines because I usually play one. I just get this feeling that Kulakevich might actually piece up Demopoulos on the feet very badly.
Definitely. I
And
don't
for
disagree with that.
leverage and for low ownership for like GPPs, that would be insane if I get that right. I just love the matchup for Carolina. I'll say that's my hot take. Low owned Carolina smashes Demopoulos.
I like it. I do. I do. So that wraps up this card. Next card would
2 weeks.
be 2 weeks. There's a week off. We got Kai Kara France and Amir Albazi. That should be a really, really good fight. The card overall, I know it changed a little bit. Miller and Ludovic Klein are not fighting anymore.
Oh, Miller's fighting Jared Gordon.
Correct. So Flash Gordon there.
Yep.
We get to see Altamirano again against Tim Elliott. That should be a good fight.
Ooh.
Korean Silva's on the card. Jamie Malarkey. I'm actually really excited about him now.
Who's Malarkey fighting?
Kutaladze.
Ooh,
I think
okay.
I think Malarkey's gonna smash him. We got another Nurmagomedov on this card,
Jesus, another one?
but it's Abu Bakar.
Oh, Apple Car.
Castaneda's fighting again, and Andrei Arlovsky's fighting again. They
Yeah.
put Arlovsky versus Mays. That's a funny fight.
I think they both, crazy thing is, I could be wrong, but I think both of them train at Jackson's.
I think that's right. So next week's card's kind of similar to this one. It's gonna be lower end, not a ton of or 2 weeks anyways. Not a ton of high end fights, but it should still be entertaining. So we'll be back for that. Otherwise, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.